Hello everyone, the host code is right up here. So welcome to another night of stamping. I'm going to show you new things out of the new catalog. If you use this host code, you'll be put in for a drawing with me. If your order is above 150, don't worry about the host code. You'll still be put in the drawing. But this gives you a chance to win certain things that we're using today, some embellishments, some embossing folders, things like that. Other announcements are if you want paper pumpkin, you need to order that by May 10th. May 1st, the new catalog is going to be available for you to view. There's new kits online. Check them out. I showed them on, I think, last week's video. June 22nd, for those of you who are demonstrators, there's a Creativity Now where you can watch online and pre-order a suite. The registration for that is now April 16th to May 3rd. I did register for it, even though I'm not going to be able to attend it because you can watch the videos later, and you can still pre-order. Some nice Christmas stuff. Hi, Fran. How are you? And that's it, really, for my announcements. We'll get to making cards. I have 3 cards tonight. Was only going to do 2 because one's a little extensive, but then I did a really easy one. So the first one's a very easy one. The second one is a little bit more, and the third one is just a little bit more. And so whatever style you like to stamp, easy, a little bit harder, a little bit more fussy, it's all here for you. All right. So the first card, very easy card that we're going to do, is this card here. Isn't that pretty? With a watercolor and the happy birthday. Let's see how easy this one is to make. First thing you're going to do is you're going to take your boho blue. Isn't that a pretty blue? Love this boho. And you're going to cut it at 5.5, score it 4 1/4. Right? Make what we call a hamburger style or a landscape card. Right? We're going to do a hot dog or portrait style card in just a second. Ooh. All right. So we got our card base. That's it. And then I took a piece of white cardstock, the thin basic white cardstock, and I ran that through an embossing folder. Now in this card, I used this embossing folder, which is one of our online exclusives. It's part of a 3-pack. Isn't that pretty? I like that. It almost gives it a fabric type look. But I thought to throw in some variety, I would run this with our new swirl one. And I have that somewhere here. Right? Isn't that pretty? So I'm going to just lay that down. This is how easy it is to make cards and Stampin' Up. So easy, right? So we got the swirl. Isn't that pretty? And I cut this a 1/4 inch difference from the base. So it's 5 4 1/4. Okay. Then you have that beautiful swirl background. Isn't that pretty? And so that's using our new embossing folder. And then we get to cheat. What I call cheating. It's not really cheating because we have this beautiful pack of cards. These are the Thoughtful Journey Memories and More cards, right? So you could put this down. Isn't that pretty? You can make that. Use your center. Any of these you can pick, right? And you can even do that one and your card's already done, right? So you get this pack of these cards, which makes card making easy. Cut this up, put it right there. You're done making your card. So I took one of the smaller cards out of that beautiful pack that coordinates with the whole suite. And then there is this pack of Saying Something Ephemera, where it has all these different sayings that you can choose from. I chose a happy birthday, but you can easily choose many, many other sayings, either like this or like that. Has a ton of different sayings in here, okay? And so pick out what you like. So many different things to choose from for you. Love you. You could put a nice love you on there. That would be nice. A nice happy birthday there. Any of these things. Thanks, friend. You know, there's, look at, you could put, you're the icing on the cake. Make a wish. Any of these. Makes it easy, right? So it's almost like someone did a lot of the work for you already. And so I keep those in a bag so I don't lose the different pieces. All right. And then all I do is I put some adhesive on most of the back of the happy birthday. Right. Before I put it down, I put it where I think I want it to go on the card. And then you don't want your tail sticking off past where your card is, because then it won't fit in the envelope, right? So you do like that, okay? And then I lift up, and I want to just raise this a little bit, and I put some dimensionals on it. Easy peasy. And then I put some pearls, whatever you have. And there's your little card. Makes it so easy. If I were going to get one of those ephemera packs, I definitely would get the saying one, because it's easy to just slap a saying on something rather than having to stamp it and emboss it. Now look how pretty that is, because I know this was boho. It just coordinates so well. And then you have your nice little card there, and it's raised a little, give it some interest. And then last but not least, we're going to put some pearls on there, and that's our easy card today. Easy, easy peasy. We'll do easy cards. We'll do, like I said, a little bit harder cards, and then some involved cards. So I took the new Basic Gray and Smoky Slate pearls, and these are the ones that I'm actually giving away if you purchase with me. But they are part of the pre-order things you can pre-order from Stamping Up if you are a demonstrator. There are a lot of things already sold out, believe it or not. And I liked the lighter ones with this color scheme, but you can use whatever you want. And I'm using my pick a tool. There. Yeah. And there you go. Things look better in odd numbers as far as embellishments. And so there's our little happy birthday card. It took us 2 seconds to make. So there's never an excuse not to make a handmade card, right? Of course, you're going to put your inside in there. So it took us no time at all. And with the array of embossing folders, that I'm sure if you don't have them, that you will soon collect them. It is fun to play around with basic white and embossing folders and just see the subtle difference that an embossing folder can make in your card. See? So that's the swirl one, and that's the other one. All right. Done with that. All done with that one. Card number 1, done. That was the easy one. Card number 2. We're going to take one of our new colors, our Shy Shamrock. Isn't that pretty? Again, this one's cut at 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. We're going to take that, we're going to fold it. We're going to score it with our bone folder. A nice sharp score. All right. Then we're going to use our embossing folder in a different way. And I'll show you that in just a moment. I took a piece of white, and this is cut at 3 3/4 by 5. because we're going to layer it. And I decided to use Petunia Pop and Shy Shamrock. And sometimes when I'm making cards, I just play until I find something I like. And so I suggest that you try and do that. So I take my ink, and I took this stamp here. This stamp goes to the new set. There's 2 new sets with this card that I'm going to use. Flowers of Beauty. Okay, so it's you stamp one and you stamp over the other, stamp one, stamp over the other. So we're going to be using these bottom 4, but there's a lot of different other ones you can use for 2-step stamping. There's some dies in here. I actually cut out these 2 dies here if you want to see those. I cut those out in Shy Shamrock. And see, so there's one there. And there's one there. We're not going to be using the cutouts, but they're pretty to see. I cut those out when I was playing. And then if you wanted a whole bunch of flowers to put on your card, you just put this one strip through and you get a whole bunch of flowers cut out. That's really cool. All right. So instead, we're actually going to be using this die, and I'll show you why in just a moment. But first, back to our Shy Shamrock. So we have photopolymer, which is nice because you can see right through and see where you're stamping. And I'm going to stamp just to one side. Okay. One side here. Good. Let that ink soak in. Isn't that pretty? It'll lighten up a little bit when it dries. And then the other Shy Shamrock stamp gives it just a little bit more detail. Now you could leave it like this, or you could stamp over them, and you just line everything up. Again, it's much harder to line things up when you can't put your head over it because you're filming, but that looks pretty good. And it gives it a little more oomph, a little more detail. Okay, so we have that. Isn't that a pretty set? You can do like a whole little garden. All right, so I'm going to put my Shy Shamrock away for now. And hope it doesn't fall. Because the next thing we're going to do is take a piece of scrap paper right here. And we're going to take our new Petunia Pop. Isn't that pretty color? Pretty, pretty color. And we're going to take 2 stamps. The first stamp here. Second stamp here. The first stamp I decided to what we call stamp off. So you ink it, and then you stamp off, and then you go to the paper. And that way the floral will have just a little bit of a lighter color than if you did full on. And then I'm going to take the center, the flowers that go in the center, and you just line those up. And you go down full strength and ignore my fingerprint. And we'll go right there. And then you can see how those go in the center and make pretty flowers. Now, what we do to make our pretty flower on the card is we're going to use our cutter, our Stamp Emboss cut machine. All right. And in order to do that, in order for you to see that, what I'm going to do is try to adjust the camera. Hi, Joanne. Joanne, we're already on card number 2 because card number 1 was so easy. I did easy, a little fussy, and very fussy. So you're saying a little fussy. I don't know how else to describe it. There's mild, medium, and a little bit of time. I don't think any of this is hard. I just think some require more time. So I'm going to run this through the Stamp Emboss cut machine. All right. And Dave is doing okay for all those who are interested. It's been a crazy week. So watch this. When I take this out, it has all these pieces, but some of them are together, right? And so it goes like this, and then there's one here, and there's some on the bottom. And there's still some here. Isn't that cool? Kind of punches them out in bunches. And so if you want to keep it exactly the way the stamp did it, you can easily match it up to the stamped off portion on your paper, and you can put it on your card like that. I didn't do that at all. I just put them where I wanted. But you can do that. And so now I got out my mini dimensionals. This is so cute. And I started with a big one. There's some great stuff coming out. Some great stuff in the new catalog. Just fun stuff. And if you didn't get a catalog, you let me know. But doesn't that look cute? Popped up on that. And then take this one. I think pop it up. Pop it up over here. And then we'll take this one. Pop it up over here. We'll take this one. It's so much fun. And that one thing cut out all your stamped images. And it makes it look so cool when there's just multiple pieces popped up, I think. And then we could put that right there. And then we have a few more. Do you guys like the petunia pop color? I really do. I don't think there's anything else like it, which I think makes it so cool. And I like the Shy Shamrock. And then the other new blue-green color. I love them. So this is a little bit different than how I did my original. Let me show you my original. And you see I just put them all over. And this one I kind of followed the pattern. All right. So we have that portion done of our card. Now, you could have done the folder first, and you probably should have. So, because I only did a folder on half of this. But let me show you what you can do with your folders when you only want part of it. So I took this folder, which is, I believe, is an online exclusive. Very cool, right? Diamond shape. And I put it just over this part, okay? And did it like this, okay? So you're not gonna, so this is gonna stay nice and clear, and then the other side is gonna have embossing folder on it. I'm gonna run that through. This is a thin embossing folder, so you're only gonna use your base plate and your clear plates. You don't use the extra plate. If you don't mind, I'm going to... I tried to move you and I shut you off. I'm going to try and move you. But you're going to see my crazy stamp room. And it is a new camera. All right. It says you can't rotate while I'm live. Well, we're going to try it. And not... Because I'm paying attention to the phone. I'm doing this wrong. So we're going to do this, and then we're only put the plate up until here. Okay? And so you're not going to put... It doesn't want me to do that. It wants me to do this. Okay. Sorry. So you get to see all my messiness behind. So what I'm doing is I'm only putting the plate to the end of the embossing folder so it doesn't smush this part. And we're going to send that through. Okay? Like that, and then we're going to stop when we get to the plate, end of the plate, and then roll back. And then that way we get that, where we have a design on one side and plain floral on the other. All right, rotating you back. Sorry, it's new stuff. new technology. New stuff. And there, isn't that pretty? Isn't that a pretty card? And then I decided, oh, we should use some of our new in color paper. So there's paper that have a 6x6 paper that matches the design, that matches the colors of the new in colors. So I took some Petunia Pop and I cut out a 4 by 5 1/4 piece. And some of my scrap that's left over, which is the other side, I cut to a piece that is 1 1/4 inch. And 1 1/4 by 3 1/8. And I'll show you what we're going to do with that. And so this way, it brings the color back a little bit more. So we're going to lay this down, and you could have used either side. There were other choices, but I kind of liked this as the background. I love how their ink coordinates with their designer paper. And because I'm not putting it down any ribbon that needs to wrap around, I am going to put this down. Okay. And I use snail adhesive, but a lot of people use different adhesives. It's whatever you prefer working with. And really what you prefer, and sometimes what you're using too. So we have this extra little piece of paper here that was from our designer series paper, same sheet. So always figure out ways to use your scraps. I'm going to set that aside for a second, and then I'm going to talk to you about a little bit about a different set. This set called Unbounded Love. It's got many, many sayings in it. And of course I use happy birthday because we're always looking for happy birthday, but it has many, many sayings, right? Many beautiful sayings. You're a true blessing, just simple things or nice things. To say has a lot. It's photopolymer, which I love for a word set. And what's even better, it has all of these dies that coordinate with all these different sayings. So this is a bundle that comes together. It is part of the pre-order. You can order it May 1st if you're not a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. But beautiful, right? And so what I did is I took this piece, and this piece. See how the leaves match. I ran this through twice. Once on the Shy Shamrock, okay, and then once on the Whisper White. And this is where you're going to have extra pieces for other things. So the reason I ran it through on the Whisper White is because I wanted this piece to be able to go in here like that, and then do that. And so I could put my saying on there. Okay. And so this is an extra piece that I'll use on another project. And with the same Shy Shamrock scrap paper, I cut out these leaves. This one's a double and this one's a single. Okay. Isn't that a cute little set with all those words and all these dies? Oh boy. If your pocketbook isn't in trouble now, it will be after you see everything. And then we start putting together. Okay. So the first thing I did was to take my piece here, just put my whatever adhesive you like, and I put this all the way to the edge. Okay. All the way to the edge. And then I took this piece. This piece right here is where I'm going to stamp my happy birthday in my Petunia Pop. A nice photopolymer. And you could stamp off if you want, but I like the full color. Let the ink sink into your paper, get a nice crisp happy birthday. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to glue this because this is thin. Now you could have used the adhesive sheets for this and cut it with the adhesive sheets already put onto the cardstock. And I'm using a different glue, but you can use your Tombow glue. I'm sorry, this is the one I just had in front of me. And I'm just putting a little teeny bit of glue. Okay. And you're going to put that down there. Make sure it doesn't go off the edge. But it's very cool, right? And then this one I decided to pop up. You don't have to. You can lay it down flat. I put some dimensionals on it. Like that. And then there. And then there you have your saying. Isn't that cool? How it shadows and is cut out there. Okay. And then I decided, okay, I'll use some glue dots for these guys. Wait till you guys see the next card. The next card is my favorite. Sorry about my dog, but he likes to play, and so he'll make noises while we're on camera, but that's okay. He has not yet come up here, so he's still downstairs playing. So that's a good thing. When he comes up to my stamp room, he sometimes makes a mess. So I just tucked that underneath there. Then I'm going to take this one, put a glue dot on it. Do you guys like the new colors? I like them better in person than I did in the looking at them online. They're a lot less pale in person. They're more vibrant is what I'm trying to say in person. So I do like the colors a lot. I wasn't so hot on them initially. And then two more things. You always need your embellishments. So our ink colors come in this great ribbon. It's a nice, soft, almost like linen ribbon. It's called bordered ribbon because it has two stitching, I think. And so all I did was tie my usual knot and cut the ends. Cut and cut. And then again, handy dandy glue dots. It's good to have all different kinds of adhesives, like as far as glue dots and glue and dimensionals, because that can really help you get what you need. You know, glue dots help with things that are not paper, I think, is the biggest thing. And sometimes not paper and you want it to adhere to your paper, glue dots work well. All right. So there's our string. All right. And put that however you want. And then we get to use really cool new shiny embellishments in the new ink colors. Aren't those pretty? Love those. And so I took some Petunia Pop and I took so Petunia Pop, Pretty in Pink. I have trouble remembering this one, even though it's probably my favorite. It's a pretty sea blue. And then Shy Shamrock. This is sea something, I don't know. And this is peach. What is this one? Peach pie? Oh yeah, because we have so many pies. I remember it's a pie. So I just took like a petunia and put it there, a small Shy Shamrock, and maybe put it up here. And then we can put a bigger Shy Shamrock down here, and then a smaller petunia next to it. And then maybe a big petunia kind of on there. Good. And then there you have your pretty Isn't that pretty? You could do a whole card just with that, right? I decided to play with the new labels and everything like that. So, good stuff coming our way. Pretty colors. Pretty stuff to use. Hope you like it. So that's card number 2. Of course, don't forget to stamp your envelope and put your insides in. I had one that I made that I didn't show you, only because this, you know, a lot of the stuff is going away. And this You Are Loved is an online exclusive, and these doggies are an online exclusive. So this pet set is pretty cute too. So there's that set too. Now, this is the card that I was like, I was inspired by someone because they were saying how much they liked it starting embossing. I was like, oh, there's other things we can do with embossing. And so I decided to do a different card. Always put your dies away. You don't want to lose your expensive dies, right? All right. So here, and I had when I saw the stamp set, I was like, wouldn't it be nice if it was done in like an antique kind of way? And so I did this one, and I just love it. And I'll show you how to stamp this. It looks like there's no lines, no dark lines, and that's because I did it in beige rather than in black. And I put embossing on the leaves, if you can see that. And I use some gold accents. And that eyelet folder that if you purchase with me this month, you could put in a drawing for that folder. Okay, so let's start making that one. So that uses a lot of stuff from the new catalog. Some of the stuff from the butterflies are from the old catalog, right? Used a garden green, and now we're using portrait, or what we call hot dog. That's cut at 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. So garden green is our background because I thought it went best with the pretty in pink. And the inks we're going to use are pretty in pink, which is our new pink, but we're also going to use some Flirty Flamingo for contrast. I have a piece of Very Vanilla. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take our beige ink. So we have a new basic beige ink. And instead of stamping this in black, we're going to stamp it in beige. And it's going to give it just a different type of look, not as in your face. I did a stamp that uses layered masks before, but we used black and yellow and bright colors. This one is more of, you know, subtle antique kind of look. So this is all stamped up with the beige, and I want to stamp it in a way that I think that the mask go, but it doesn't really matter because the mask you can turn to fit your flower. Okay, so I'm just letting that beige ink sink in. And see, with the beige, it's not as dark, okay? It's not as dark as black would be. So now this set has, can you believe this is going to turn into this? Pretty cool, right? And I don't have to color it myself. So this set comes with 5 masks. And we're going to use those right now, and you can use them all with your blending brushes. But the last one I decided not to, and I'll show you why. So when I'm blending, I like to make the piece stay down a little bit. So I'm just going to put a little piece here and a little piece down here of some tape. Okay. And then these will have a number in the corner. Can you see that? So that's number 1, and it has a V. Okay, so you know wherever you put this, it's going to be in the same place each time. For some that are hard to line up, you might want to pay more attention to this. This one is not hard to line up. If you line up these centers in the center of your flowers, everything will be good. Okay, and so I'm going to do that. I notice it's a little off to the side, so I'm just going to tape it down. Now we're going to take our Pretty in Pink ink. Pretty in Pink. And everyone says it's the one we had before, but to me it's a darker shade of pink than the Pretty in Pink we had before. And I'm just going to go over the area lightly. Enough. Make sure every little area is filled in. Don't be worried about applying too much. Okay. Just make sure your mask doesn't move. And then you have these. And if you wanted those a different color, you could do those up here a different color. You could do these little sprigs purple, whatever you wanted to do. Now that's going to be darker than down here because I didn't tap off my ink, but that's okay. Flowers are different, right? So now we peel off our first one, and this is what it's starting to look like. And then we'll go to number 2. And play with these, try different colors, try different things that you want. There's number 2. So for number 2, I also just used Pretty in Pink again. Okay. So my things up there. I'm going to line it up. I'm just making sure it's not wet. Okay. I'll line it up here. There we go. You can make, once you have this in place, if you don't want to line it up each time, you can make a little mark on your paper where the V is and line it up with a V each time. I like to line it up with the paper each time. And I'm going to go in with Pretty Pink and Pink again. Okay. So I tap off, and I'm going to go in. All right. And some of these masks are slightly a little more fragile, so you have to be careful of the smaller pieces. But they're not pretty much infallible as long as things are good. Good. And so now everything else will have another layer of that color. And then watch when we lift up. We're going to start building our flower. Isn't that pretty? Beautiful. Beautiful. And now there's number 3. Okay. And number 3 here. There we go. Almost there. And number 3 I did with Flirty Flamingo. This is really fun. It's almost like, it looks like a professional watercolor. Like you didn't have to do the watercoloring. All right. So I'm pretty much done with my pink. Pretty in Pink. So I'm going to put my brush away and grab the Flirty Flamingo. No, Flirty Flamingo's pink, but it has a hint of coral in it, I think. And so it adds a little bit of something else. And then you just add, make sure you're straight on. And I wasn't. So this may look a little different. Yep. I think I taped it wrong. Don't tape it wrong. Okay. It'll be okay. Still okay, right? Still didn't get that down there. Let's get that, these two right here. Okay, good. I think it looks good. Looks very pretty, doesn't it? Do you guys like this? All right, so now we have our shades of our roses. Can you believe that? How beautiful that is. Just take a look at the shades of it with the masks. So cool. And then before we do that, we're going to do our green. And so we have number 4. And see how easy it lines up? You just line it up with your image, right? Make sure you got everything there. And you like how it was lined up. And then we're going to do green. Hi, Carol. You might want to go back and watch this because this one's pretty cool. And then we're going to take garden green with a blending brush. Okay. And then the next one we're going to do a little bit different. We're not going to use a blending brush, and I'll show you why. You can if you want to. I'm going to tap off. I'm just going to go through here with a green. Okay. And this is the same color we're using for the base of the cardstock. Isn't that pretty? Garden green is pretty. All right, and then watch when we lift. Isn't that pretty? It just looks like someone watercolored on antique linen to me. That's what it looks like. So I love this. I'll try and get you up a little bit. Sorry, been adjusted. It is easy. It's not hard. So you can, on the next one, you can use green, right? But what I decided to do on the last mask, and this is where the embossing comes in, okay? Line it up just like you would, okay? With, make your corners up there. It's number 5. Line it up with your leaves. And then you're going to tape it down. And instead of using your blending brushes or ink coloring, you can use sponges, whatever you need to lay your ink down. Instead of doing that, a lot of this is the veining in that of the leaves. See, I just moved it a tad just with taping, and so you got to be careful of that. Sometimes the taping of it. And then you get, because this is sticky, and I'll show you why it's sticky. Sometimes you get oggy hair in there. All right. And this one you want pretty. It is forgiving. So even though I make it look easy, it is fairly forgiving. Now, instead of using your blending brush, you are going to, yeah, before you tape it down, sorry, we're going to do this. We're going to use our embossing buddy over it. Okay. Take out any stick. And mostly you just want to take over the stick off the flowers. Make sure nothing's wet there. Now we're going to line it up again. And then we're going to stick it down. Yeah. There. Good. Good. As soon as you move your finger. All right. Now we're going to take our Versamark. And instead of using our blending brush, we're just going to go over this with our Versamark. And kind of use our edge of the pad to get in all these little crevices. Make sure you don't peel up your mask and make it offline. Okay. And you could use any color you want, but I thought gold made it look a little more antique-y. And then we peel that up. We have our beautiful antique rose. Now we take our embossing folder, or I'm sorry, embossing powder. Isn't this cool? This is just so cool. And you're going to take your piece here. Now it doesn't matter if it sticks to the edges because we're going to cut this out. And thank God it has a die, right? Thank God it has a die. I'm going to first kind of pull this up a little bit. Sorry, I'm still learning my system. I know you're crooked for a second. There we go. And then I keep my embossing powder in Tupperware containers. Got to make sure they stay closed though. And then I pour over the areas that I just marked up with my mask. Okay. And so that's over the leaves. Right? Good. Isn't that cool? And so you can put whatever powder you wanted on it. And then there's a little dust in the flowers. So I have always kept a brush to brush off the powder I didn't want. Okay? And so that will get out of there. Because you want the flowers to look nice and soft. And the leaves to have some gold accent on them. Good. Just want to make sure I got some here if it needed some. Yeah. Okay. And now we're going to heat that. And it's going to be awesome. So our heating tool has two settings. One for drying, two for heat embossing. And see how it changes into the gold? See how that's changing? Oh, how pretty, how pretty, how pretty, right? And then you do that all through your card. And I just thought this was the coolest stamp that we have. It's just so pretty. I like it better. I actually like it better than the other one we've masked. Right. And a little bit there. Isn't that pretty? Okay. And then what I did was I took our dies and that correlate with this. And I have to get the base plate. So you need plate number 1, plate number 2, and then your clear plates. And then there are dies that come with this set, wherever that set might be. And so you can, so these are the dies. This cuts out the big one, but there's ones that cut out little tags, little leaves, other florals in the set. I have a very messy desk right now with all the masks. And then you're going to line this up. You're like, oh, but I did all that work. I don't want to have to cut it and mess it up. But the die fits perfectly. This is one I would tape down so it doesn't move because you did all this work for this, right? So I'm going to tape that down there, tape it down here, and then I'm going to send it right through my Big Shot. It does add like a little nice touch, doesn't it? Yeah. So my advice is play with everything you have. Everything can be changed, manipulated. You know, you can use, you know, you could actually use blends through the masks. Your masks will get dirty, but that doesn't matter. You can use watercolors on watercolor paper. There's just play. My advice is play and have fun. because that's what I like to do. And I was like, oh, this looks nicer. No, not a fan of that. And then there is your like, look at that piece that you just made, and it didn't take that long. Isn't that beautiful? That could be a wedding card. But I made it an anniversary card, but it could be a wedding card. It's that pretty, right? And so I thought it would be prettiest if it was very vanilla on very vanilla. So I took a very vanilla piece cut at 4 by 5 1/4, and I ran it through our eyelet embossing folder. And so to do that, you guys know all you need is your base plate, right? And then that number 4 plate that I gotta find. There it is. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in my eyelet folder. And this is a 3D one. So this comes out really nice. Isn't that cool? It's so fun. And it didn't take me that long, even though this is a little more fussy. It didn't take me that long to do that, and it was fun doing it. So you went from easy to medium to still easy, but just a few more steps, right? And then look at that embossing folder. Isn't that cool? I love it. And so I thought that would be really pretty, that on that. Okay. And then we have a ribbon that is available in the new catalog, but you can buy it now. Was an online exclusive. It comes in gold and silver together. So I just took a piece of that, and I'm going to wrap that around right there. I think there's going to be a lot more ideas, because I think there's going to be a lot more demonstrators. Okay. And then we're going to attach this to our base, our garden green base. Close to My Heart is closing down on a lot of their demonstrators, became Stampin' Up! Demonstrators. So that allows a new kind of crafter to come in and play with our stuff, which will expand our ideas of what we get to use. So I'm excited about that. And one of my friends who did Close to My Heart is coming over. So see that. Now I want to raise that just a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back here. And I got all my retired stamp sets and dies priced for my sale, which I think is going to be June 15th. So mark your calendars for June 15th. It's a Saturday. Usually open my doors at 9. For my special customers, I often will arrange times if you can't make that time to come and see my stuff. Isn't that pretty? So before I put that down, I should have stamped. So I'm going to use my embossing buddy again. The embossing buddy will get any stickiness away. And I'm going to use the Happy Anniversary stamp from the same set. Okay. And I'm going to heat that up after so I'm going to use the Versamark. I got so excited about this card, I forgot about the saying. And then put your happy anniversary where you want. I'm doing this only because I have dimensionals, and I want it all to show. You shouldn't really rock your stamp like that. And then I just got too excited. Forgot to put my saying on it. You can put a saying across it. Okay, not too bad. Got to get the Y in the happy. Yeah. Not too bad. Not as good as the first one. So stamp it before you put it on. Your happy anniversary. It was just so pretty. I was just so excited. And then I'm going to heat that up, right? Definitely still tell it says happy anniversary, even though it was done incorrectly. And I just thought this looked so cool. I love this stamp. And you don't have to do it in pink. You can do it in blue. You can do it purples. You can do it in any colors you want. These were my favorite. All I have left is a little embellishment. So I did tie a bow. I'm not always a bow, but I thought for an anniversary you need a bow. So I just tie a little bow here. Sorry, I pulled it too much. What do you think? Do you like the gold touches? Can do it in silver too. It doesn't have to be gold. You can do it in copper. Pretty much anything, right? So you don't have to follow all the rules. Play with your stuff. It's meant to be played with, right? That's how we figure out things. Okay, so we have our little bow. And then last but not least, we have our embellishments. Don't worry, I'm not running low. I have another package of these. These are so flat. They're so awesome. Our little butterflies. And they went so well, I thought, with the gold with this one. And I used 2 big and then 1 little. And just faced them different ways so that it makes them look like they're flitting around. And that's card number 3. Isn't that fun? I love it. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed your time with me tonight. Hope you stay safe and have a great weekend. And God bless you and keep you. Good night.